Gen X grew up on late-night warnings.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Scared, straight.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
And were inspired by movies that defined a generation.
We were all pretty bizarre. Some of us are just better at hiding it, that's all.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I feel the need for speed.
We found our attitude in comedy.
I'm Gumby, damn it!
You see that sign? No shirt, no shoes, no dice.
Right. Learn it. Know it. Live it.
And our identity in pop culture.
I want my MTV!
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV!
What you talking about, Willis?
Keep your feet in the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
This is Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhide.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Yeah, here we go. Episode 35. Bill Rowland
35.
With you, and Gary is much better. He is over all the things that happened to him that we talked about in the last episode. I'm assuming you're better. I mean, it seems to be that you're better.
I was better the next morning. That's what's kind of funny about it. No, but I mean, seriously, it was I didn't feel good for 2 days, and the stress and everything, the whole, you're going to need surgery. And then by that next morning, it's like, okay, like no residual anything of concern.
Beautiful.
But I probably shouldn't say that because my insurance company has already said, can't remember if I mentioned it last week. No. Hey, we're not paying for that overnight stay. That wasn't necessary.
Well, you need to get your doctor to write them a note and say, hey, by the way, we had to keep him there for evaluation. So yes, it was.
Well, everything I read, it's standard of care. So then it goes back to the whole, you hear these stories, it's AI, it's just people rejecting the first claim because
yes, of course,
they're hoping you're just going to pay it.
Yep. Well, that's what I got. I got a letter because, again, as we talked about prior episodes, which is kind of funny that you had a medical episode, two of them after that I had my one about not having to go do chemo and cancer and all that other stuff anymore. I got a note from my insurance company that said that they are not going to pay for the genetic testing because it was medically unnecessary. Well, my genetic testing that I did, it's called, I can't even remember. No, it's not Centera. That's the insurance company. I forget what it's called. I've got it around here somewhere. But anyway, it's a thing where I go and take blood and they send it to California and they look and see if there's any genetic markings of the tumor being back, right?
Yep.
It's really, really expensive. And when the first time my insurance denied it, I wrote to my doctor and said, hey, we can't do this test because I don't have $5,000 every pop because I was getting it done like 2 or 3 times a year, maybe even 4 times a year. I was like, I can't drop $20,000. Like as much as I'd like to, we're gonna get rid of this. And they wrote me back and said, don't worry about it. It's done, taken care of. You don't have to pay for it. I was like, oh, cool. But I also realized that means I'm the guinea pig. Like that means they're taking my blood. And they're like, well, we're not going to make this guy pay for it, but now we can do whatever we want because it's our blood.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. That's what I feel like. Because I'm like, well, I don't care. Do whatever you want.
They could clone you.
Huh?
They could clone you.
Could? I mean, who knows what I've signed off on. But anyway, so the insurance company sent me that letter, and I was like, oh, that's a shame because I'm not getting it done anymore. So it doesn't matter. So, yeah. But, so you're feeling good. I went haircut this week, and
you got them all cut, not just the one.
Oh, I walked in, and it was almost 100 degrees here on Monday. And the guy at the barbershop was like, what are we doing today? I said, well, taper the back like I normally do. And I said, honestly, I'm almost to the point because I got a big giant bald spot in the back and you can see the receding in the front. I was like, I want to just shave it all off. And he's looking and he goes, nah, you got too much hair to do that. He goes, you'd have to shave like every other day if you did that. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't even like shave my face every other day for the most part if I don't have to. So he was like, well, what do you think? And I was like, I don't know. What do you think? And he's like,
close crop.
He's like, I can just cut it all the way down. And I was like, well, I said, the only thing I don't like about this short is like, I don't want people to think, because I was never in the military. So I don't want people to think like, oh, this guy is a military guy. I don't want to come off as that. I don't want to make it appear, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to appear that way. Nothing against it. It's more of, I don't want that honor than, oh, I don't want to be, thought of as a military. Look, I got my USA 1776 shirt on. Of course, I would be proud to be part of the military, but I never served. So I don't want people to think that I did, because that's not fair. So, but I was like, you know what? Go ahead. I said, what's the worst thing that happens? I have to wait 2 months for it to grow back? Just do it. So we did. And then I sat outside at the George Mason baseball game today in the A-10 tournament. And so now I'm going to have a really weird, when I get up in the morning, tan line because I had a hat on. So I'm sure I'm going to have that. And the top of my head will be all glowing, bright, white, untanned. And my face got some sun today. So anyway.
So it was warm there today as well, huh?
Yeah, it's starting to cool off. We're supposed to get thunderstorms. I was up in more northern Virginia, like Fairfax area, and it was pouring down rain at one point. But I drove home here in Prince William County, and not a drop. So I'm hoping it's on the way. But it's supposed to be 58 here Saturday. So
yeah, we peaked at 92 today.
It was what?
92 today.
New record, I'm sure, for the date.
Nope, it was a little bit higher than that. And then, yes, tomorrow we're supposed to be back to like 56.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to get snow showers on Saturday because it's supposed to be rainy and 58 here. So I was like, well, probably snow up there.
It will snow up here.
But anyway. All right, so the big news is we kind of buried the lead here with all of our talk. Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is going to redo some of their stores back to the original 80s. We're talking red and white checkerboard tablecloths, the plastic ones, the red plastic seats, the red plastic cups.
Pebble cups. The pebble cups.
Everybody, is that what they're called?
That's why I described them as, because they had that texture.
Right there.
Oh, this is Beaky's chicken, hot chicken. Beaky's hot chicken from Texas.
All right. That's a red cup. But yeah, and they're talking about the salad bar coming back and tabletop Ms Pac Man machines. This is glorious. This is for Gen X. This is your, hey, I remember when I was 8 years old and we finished the Saturday morning Little League game and everybody packed in the car and went to Pizza Hut for lunch. This is fantastic. Now, only though,
there's a hitch.
Bring back, what's that?
Oh, I said there's a hitch to this.
Oh, there's a hitch.
I was reading. Oh, for you, I meant for, yeah.
No. For me, I'm all in. I love the tablecloth. I love the booths with the red padded back, all that stuff. They got to go back to the old way they made the pizza because I'm going to be honest, I haven't had Pizza Hut in a long time because it just didn't taste good anymore. So if they go back to the big, I had a buddy that worked at Pizza Hut, so this is the only reason I know this. The big double ovens, like the 500-degree ovens, and you got that crust just so, I'd go back there every other week.
It might happen.
It needs to.
The problem, because I was reading up on this, and a lot of that stems from Yum Brands taking it over at a certain point. And that's why they've been streamlining and closing underperforming locations and just doing the whole delivery thing. And this guy who owns 100 of them, supposedly, is the one doing the makeover because he says it's classic Pizza Hut. Classic
with the
is
roof,
in.
Yes.
It's in the corporate manual that you can remodel your store to that, but most people have chosen not to do it. He's being the one going, this is what we're doing. We're bringing it all back.
And that's great. I mean, I love the flat little roof, the hut. Love all that. I mean, when you drive around, you can still tell. You can tell that used to be a Pizza Hut. Like
the new Mexican and Chinese restaurants that used to be the Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that burrito place, that used to be a Pizza Hut. And you didn't even have to live there. You just know, that's where a Pizza Hut was. Yeah, what's the guy's name? Sparks is his last
Tony
name?
Sparks or something,
Something like that. So I didn't realize he had 100 stores. That worries me because that means that he may not have any in my area, which means I may not get these glorious Pizza Huts back again. But was that a thing? Like, you were in a suburb, but I would almost say that you were almost rural
Oh, we were rural.
Yeah.
There was one in Mechanicsville. There was
far-
one up in the town that we did our commerce in. Yes.
Okay. The town.
Yes.
Commerce, that's very old timey.
We're going to town today.
Everybody put on your nice clothes. We're gonna oppress the town folk. The
Yes.
city folk.
But yeah, it was always packed because it was that, as you said, Saturday, Friday. It was a staple, an absolute staple. We're going to pizza. We're going to Pizza Hut, and it's like you said, everything: the red and white checkerboard tablecloths, the red. I always call them the red pebble cups. Always want one, so maybe I can get my hands on them again. And then it was just good pizza because you're right. There was something about the crust, the way they cooked it. Was
good.
Always fantastic. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. The last time I actually had that kind of crust was at a place, and it wasn't Pizza Hut. It was some local brand down in Myrtle Beach. And I said, that is the old school Pizza Hut right there. So maybe they ripped it off and doing it on their own down in Myrtle Beach.
See, I don't need, I was never like, when all these places started messing with stuff like the stuffed crust, I don't need that. I don't need to just bring back the fantastic pan pizza crust. Personal pan pizzas were fantastic. We had a McDonald's right across the street from my high school. You know where, I mean, you've been by my high school, I think, if you remember, down there in Alexander, Edison High School. Right across the street from us was a McDonald's, which that's common for whatever reason. I mean, credit to McDonald's. For whatever reason, there seems to be a lot of McDonald's directly across the street or just down the road from every high school in Northern Virginia. But we never went to the McDonald's for lunch. If you were skipping out, or if you got out early, sometimes in the spring for baseball, we'd play a 4:00 game instead of playing at 7:00 at night because it was too freaking cold if you played at 7:00 at night. So you'd be able to get out early. And if you got out early, you need to go to McDonald's. You went down the street, especially if you were skipping, because you knew you could get in and out. Personal pan pizzas, they guaranteed it 5 minutes from when you ordered it. So we would sneak out, drive the 1.5, 2 miles down the road, run in real quick. And I'm sure everybody who worked there at the lunch shift was like, you're clearly skipping school.
They were ready.
Oh, yeah. And it was either, they only made them in two. You either got a cheese or a pepperoni, that you couldn't do anything else with them. And you just go in and be like, I need a pepperoni pizza and a drink to go. And they'd have it, and you'd be back, and you'd sit in the parking lot and eat your Pizza Hut personal pan pizza and then sneak back into school for after lunch was done. Yep. You could do it in a half hour. It was easy. It's great. So if we can get back to that, I am all in.
I'm sure it's coming back, especially if if it's this franchise owner and he gets other, because part of it said his stores that he's already converted are already doing far better than his regular stores.
Good.
And part of the reason he wants to do it is he wants to go back to as he said, the nostalgia for people our age.
Yeah.
Families come in and eat. No phones, no gimmicks. We're just here to eat pizza. And that's what he's trying to revive back with these remodels going on.
Put a freaking jukebox in the place, too. Put the Ms Pac Man tabletop game. You would sit there and play Ms Pac Man while you waited on your pizza, because usually, and this is why they were so good, they would hand toss and do all the crust and everything once you ordered it. It wasn't like they had a frozen crust ready to go and they just made it. They rolled it out. They did all that. And so it might take a half hour for your pizza to be done. So your parents gave you 3 or 4 quarters and you wasted 10, 15 minutes of that time playing Ms Pac Man.
Absolutely.
Or if you ordered to go, you just sit there and play Ms Pac Man while you waited for your order to go.
And then loaded up the jukebox.
Yeah.
Of which kids really have no idea what that is, but that's funny.
Correct. That's where you had to pay money to actually play a song. It cost you a quarter to play
every time you play it, not just the one time to download it.
Right. Yeah. You just got to hear it. You didn't get to keep it. You just got to hear it for a quarter. But yeah, I mean, so you do all that, and then, I mean, their salad bar was probably the first time, like as a kid, that I was like, I'll eat some salad while I'm out to dinner. Usually, I wouldn't. I'm not going to go out to dinner with my parents and be like, oh, you know what I want? I want a salad. But I would go and get what I still use for a salad now. Just everything basically green: lettuce, peppers, cucumber, celery if it was there, maybe some chopped carrots, but I wouldn't put all the other stuff on it. And then you just get like one of the 8,000 different dressings that they had underneath the little glass thing there, the sneeze guard.
The sneeze guard.
Bring that back. I'm all in. If I could go and get a large pizza and the salad bar for like $15,
no,
20 bucks. I'm in.
Probably, maybe.
Yeah.
We went to we have Pizza Hut still. Pardon me, I'm having a rough time here.
That's all right. Get some water. You got some water there in your
in the tea.
There you go. That's good stuff.
So we went to Pizza Hut the other week. Sit down. It doesn't look like the old school ones. It's one of the newer ones.
So it looks sterile and lifeless.
Yeah, square, sterile, and they're faux
no soul
decor. If you wanted to add a salad to your pizza,
oh no,
$9.95 a person.
Forget it. No, you can't. They got to be smarter than this. If you're going to go back nostalgia, you got to be able to walk in and do large pepperoni pizza, two people able to get salads, like a date night.
Yeah,
$20. If you did that, people would flock to that place.
Well, I mean, the pizza we do like.
Salad bar is $10.
It was $10 to add it on.
Yeah,
I was just, and she was smiling like we were going to do it, and I said, "No, thank you. We'll just order the $6 breadsticks and move on."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then, of course, that salad bar. I'm not going to bust on them, but as I did the walk by as we were going to sit down, I looked at it and said, "We might want to freshen up the greens here a little bit, people."
Well, that's the other thing. The salad bars were always good. They were always fresh.
Yeah, well, it's I tell you, it's the corporate, it's the chains. No one takes pride in their fast food anymore.
Well, that's fair. I'm serious. I mean, that's fair. I mean, again, Pizza Hut used to be a sit-down restaurant.
Yes.
It wasn't like come in, get your pizza in 5 minutes after you order, and because again, it was already pre-made, frozen, and they just shoved it in the oven to cook it out. They rolled out the dough, did all that other stuff, and then put it in whatever ovens they had back in the day. Man, that crust was unbelievable. It was so good, but not as of late. So
no, I'm looking this up. I don't know if did you have Pizza Inn?
I remember Pizza Inn. I don't think I've ever been to a Pizza Inn. I do remember them.
So
I think I feel like is that more of a southern thing?
I think. Well, let's see. I'm looking up the locations.
All right.
Because we had them in Virginia. Oh, well, they're making me search by my zip code. Which, anyway, I don't know if it was. I know they're definitely in the South, Midwest.
Yep.
And it was the alternative. It was kind of were you a Pizza Hut person or a Pizza Inn? Right. And technically, you could be both. I just remember our Pizza Inn was more like a pub, darker wood, a lot of neon lights, a lot of dark atmosphere, and it was just completely different than the open air new Pizza Hut. But the pizza was just as good.
It's mainly here's where they're at. It's South. Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, Missouri, Oklahoma, New Mexico has some, I guess, Texas.
Some franchises,
but nothing in New England at all. And even the Virginia locations
mm-hmm.
are not close by. Hillsville, Virginia, I should say. Floyd, Virginia, which I believe is Southwest Virginia.
Yeah.
Christiansburg, which is also over that way.
Southwest, yeah.
Abingdon, Virginia.
Southwest. Yep.
Tazewell, Tennessee is the
Southwest.
next one.
Yeah.
So, I'm aware of them, I think, from traveling like down through North Carolina. I don't think I've ever actually eaten in one. So
okay. Yeah. I mean, it felt a little bit more Italian-y in their decor, and ours was in Richmond, but we would still most of the time end up at Pizza Hut just because it was closer, easier to get in and out of.
Now we had the rival, if you will. Did you have Mr. Daddy's?
No.
Okay. Mr. Gaddy's was another pizza spot. It was out off of, it's not there anymore, I don't believe, off of Van Doren Street over down in the Alexandria, Duke Street area, if people are familiar, over that way. Landmark area. People remember the old Landmark Mall. It was up the street from there. They had, and Pizza Hut did this for a little while, but Mr. Gaddy's had their pizza buffet. So that was the other place. If you were not having to rush and get back for lunch, but you're actually out of school and you're going to eat lunch and that, you had all the time in the world, you'd go to Mr. Gaddy's because they had the full arcade, not just the one Ms Pac Man, and they had the pizza buffet, which was great. Before CC's Pizza.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm not going to disparage anybody. Mr. Gaddy's buffet was way better. I'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, that was the other rival that we had to, but we didn't have a Pizza Inn up this way. So
Godfather's Pizza?
We had Godfather's.
Okay.
Wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Wasn't
bad.
I
mean, we had one. It was on the far side of Richmond. It was okay.
Yeah.
Especially, again, Pizza Hut, Pizza Inn, I put them kind of neck and neck. Maybe other people didn't. It was just good pizza. Maybe this was the late 70s, early 80s. And again, people took pride in their food, did a great job. But yeah, it wasn't worth driving across town to go to Godfather's Pizza.
Right. How about Shakey's? Did you have Shakey's?
We did not have Shakey's.
Okay. Shakey's was also another one of those, take the baseball team, basketball, you take the sports team and the kids go there. You went to Shakey's for like your team dinner, like the end of the year celebration. You go to Shakey's for the team dinner. But it was further away from us. Like it was probably a 20-minute drive where Pizza Hut was 10. So everybody always went to the Pizza Hut rather than driving all the way down to Shakey's. But Shakey's was there. We had was it Armand's Pizza? Did you guys have Armand's?
No.
Oh, they were more of the higher end. I remember when they started delivering, that was really good, but it was like expensive back in the day. Like you're like, ooh, we're springing for Armand's? Okay, let's do this. And
I remember living in Northern Virginia, going there or ordering from Armand's Pizza. Yeah.
Yep. Do you remember the penalty box down above? It was on King Street.
Okay.
It was Bugsy's. I guess it was Bugsy's, and then upstairs was the penalty box. They had phenomenal pizza.
Oh.
I think they're still around, but they had fantastic pizza.
Chuck E. Cheese, was that on your list?
Yeah, I mean, no. I've been to a Chuck E. Cheese, but no.
Cardboard with fake cheese?
You're not going to Chuck E. Cheese to eat
for the pizza.
It's ridiculous. It's awful. You go for the show. That's why you go to Chuck E. Cheese for the
and the arcade.
Show. Yeah, exactly. So the reason we could get away with, because Fairfax County, I don't know how it was at your school. When I was in school at Fairfax County, and I know the rules have changed over the years and it may be back the other way, you weren't allowed to leave for lunch. Did you guys have open campus in high school?
We did not.
Okay. So
and here's why, for people who want to know. If you went to my high school and wanted to leave campus for lunch, your choice was 7-Eleven, because there was nothing else around for. Well, you could go home, I guess, but it just wasn't open to leave, come back.
Right. Okay,
and may have been part of it's rural. Like I said, the only thing. There was a roadside truck stop, sorta, but you're better off at school, I guess.
Right.
For the time it took you and what you were getting.
Eating the school lunches.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my senior year, I knew we could get away with it, and we weren't going to get that much trouble. If you got off campus, you were fine. And there were 3 exits to our school. So as long as you didn't, and sometimes they would park like an admin person at one of the exits. So you had to either know that they were there and then go out one of the other ones, or you just took a chance that you're going to get. I mean, seriously. That's
Mission Impossible to go to lunch.
The conversation would be, hey, where is, I think it was Mr. Blunt was the guy's name. Where's Mr. Blunt sitting? Because I think he was the driver's ed teacher. So he had one of the county cars that they would use to teach driver's ed, and he would just park it near the exit, because of obviously every exit had a stop sign. So you couldn't blow out onto Franconia Road and just hope that you didn't get hit. So you would weasel your way out, but we never worried about coming back in, because generally they didn't bother you. If you're coming back to school, they weren't going to mess with you. And my government teacher which is the class that I had right after lunch, was a drunk. And this is confirmed. This
well
is,
known, huh?
No,
We're not disparaging.
No. Well, she's passed away. I found out just a few months ago, as a matter of fact. But this is not a joke. Anybody who was at Edison High School in the mid to late 80s and early 90s will know this is a fact. There is a government teacher, Mrs. Turtelot was her name, or Miss Turtelot, I guess. And every single day, you would get out of lunch. In the afternoons, I had her after lunch. And she would have, her coffee. She'd come from the teacher's lounge or whatever, and she'd sit down at her desk, and we'd all be milling in, and she'd pull open the drawer, and she'd put her cup in the
disappear
in the desk drawer, and then you'd see you couldn't see the cup, but you'd see her hand make this motion, right? Like she's holding her cup, and you'd just see the hand inside the drawer, and then she'd pull the cup up and sit on the desk. Well, if you sat close enough, or if you went up to talk to her, you could smell it. You could absolutely smell the booze. It was like, this is I remember the first time, because neither one of my parents drank when I was a kid. So, I was like, what is that smell? What is that? Because I've never really smelled it that much. And then somebody said, oh, that's her booze. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And then, every single day you would see her pour her drink into her coffee, whatever. I don't know if she was doing Kahlua. I have no idea. But she would drink it seemed like every day. If not every day, at least 3 times a week. And this was back when you had class every single day. It's not like now where they have A days and B days and they split your schedule. You had the same teachers, the same class, every single day, the same schedule. And she would drink minimum 3 out of the 5 days. Now, that's how that was an interesting story. There's a couple more things with her. My high school was off the chain. It was ridiculous. Okay. So we've established now that she's a partier, apparently, a drinker in school, right? So our senior, this would have been the spring of my senior year, so 89. She was my government teacher in 88, 89, the year I graduated. That's when you took it as a senior. We have these papers that you had to do. Now, again, this is 1989. There are nobody's typing stuff out on computers. People are barely even typing them out on a typewriter. If I wrote mine out and had it done in time, I can hand it to my mom, and maybe she would type it up if she had time, because my mom worked for the Department of Defense. Look, she was a secretary. She did more than that, but she could type really well.
She had skills. Yeah.
And I took a typing class. That was one of the things I did my senior year, because my mom was like, when you get to college, you're not going to want to handwrite stuff, learn to type. And I was like, okay. So I took a typing class. So I could do a little bit. She was way faster than me at this point. Point is, nobody was saving that to a disk or in the cloud or what. You hand wrote it out. Well, she had this Nissan 300ZX hatchback type thing. Yeah.
Whoa.
Right? So we turn in, give her all her papers. They were due right before spring break. Now, again, understanding that she liked to drink, and maybe she didn't want to sit there and read. She taught 3 or 4 classes of history. So maybe she didn't want to sit there and read 100 papers of ours. I don't know. She went to Myrtle Beach for spring break. Somebody smashed the back hatch window and stole everything out of the back of the car, including our papers. And this is the story she told us anyway. Now, her car definitely was smashed up, because I remember seeing, all the stuff. She had a rental car for a little bit, and then, you could tell when she had the car back that the glass, you could tell it was new glass. So I don't think she was lying about that at all. I think that actually happened. However, instead of saying, hey, all of you have to write your papers over again, which we would have revolted, I'm sure. It's a disaster. She brought up, and I didn't remember the full story behind this. I remember the papers getting stolen and everything else, but I just saw a buddy of mine, one of my best friends from high school. His son he plays for baseball for his high school now, and they had their senior night. It was around the corner from where I live, so I went to see him. And he and his younger sister, who was 3 years behind me, were all talking about different teachers and people and all that kind of stuff. Her husband was there. He also went to our high school. So my buddy Rob reminded me, because I remember about the papers getting stolen and how we got our grades and everything, but he reminded me of it is, so instead of like making us rewrite the papers or just dropping them, she, for the next couple of classes, the rest of us would just sit there and you would do whatever other homework or talk quietly, called us up each individually and said, what did you do your project on? Like, what topic was it? We'd tell her. She would ask us a few questions about it to make sure that we weren't lying. Like we'd actually.
You may have done some research.
May have done some stuff on this. Again, you couldn't chat GPT it or Google it or whatever. You had to actually do the work. And then the last question, and this is the one that I remember. I had forgotten that she quizzed us on everything. I just remember this part of it. What grade do you think you would have gotten? And that's, I mean, I just went, it's probably B plus. I didn't want to shoot over the top because you couldn't go too high. If you were like an okay student, we're gonna be like, oh, it was an A. I probably would have got a 98.
It had to be an A.
Because she was gonna be like, I mean, you got a 74 average in this class. How are you gonna get a 98? So you just you threaded the needle. And I think I said, I don't know, it's probably B plus. She goes, all right, B plus sounds about right. That's
Wrote it down.
That's the grade you got for that paper. I mean, that's I think about that now, all the nonsense that goes on in public schools, and then I go, yeah, you know what? Ours was pretty much the same, like as far as like it was just as screwed up. It was just screwed up in a different way.
Okay. Well, here's the questions I know everyone else is going to ask, Bill. How old was she in this time frame?
Well, let's see. I can figure it out for you right now. She was in her early 50s. I know this because she just passed away in January, and Rob's younger sister, I don't know where she found all this stuff. She was looking things up. She had her phone out with some like page that had all like the Edison High School from like every graduating year and then teachers who had passed away. And like, oh, Miss Turtelot. And I was like, oh my God, that's our history teacher. I was like, when did she die? And she said, oh, just in January. And I was like, wow, pretty impressive. And she goes, yeah, she was 91. So take it back 37 years, because I was 89.
Yeah.
It would have been 30. So she would have been 54.
Okay.
So
was she single?
Well, here's the thing. This is the other. Here's the thing from the obituary, right?
Okay.
I didn't know any of this stuff. I knew about the drinking. In the obituary, it said, you know, it's listing her life and everything else, and it talked about her divorce.
Okay.
So we're like, okay, makes sense why she may have gone down the road of drinking. Also makes sense that maybe, although at 54, I don't know, I'm 54 now. I don't think I would take spring break to Myrtle Beach, but who's the judge, right?
Right.
Well, it also said two things that I went, okay. One, it said she was very proud of her late in life sobriety.
Okay.
So good for Miss Turtelot getting off the sauce.
Sure.
But it does kind of back up that she was drinking a lot because she had to get sober. And the other thing was she was survived by her partner, and then I don't remember the name, but it was a female name.
Oh, okay.
So she had been married to a guy, got divorced, got out to be an alcoholic, got off the sauce, figured out she was a lesbian. So good for her. I'm glad she lived a long, prosperous
she found her happiness.
I'm glad she got sober. I'm glad she found somebody. I'm happy that she lived to 91. But yeah she was.
I was just going.
I'll say that.
I was going with the basics because here I'm thinking, okay, whatever. She's 30s, 40s, 50s. She's driving the sports car.
Yeah.
She's having a nip at work. She's not teaching anything too technical like chemistry, algebra. I'm like, I think this woman probably had the real deal going on at that time in her life. Maybe not. But, you know, she was having a good time. Absolutely. I don't know. And going to Myrtle Beach. That was the other one. Like, we're going to Myrtle Beach for spring break. Load it up.
That was 89. She was down in Myrtle Beach. It was funny because, like, the next year, of course, I'm a freshman in college. And that's, I mean, obviously different times because your college spring break and end of the year is different than, like, what a high school spring break would be. But I laugh because at the end, and you know this because you went with us one of the years. At the end of the school year in college, where did everybody go for beach week? Myrtle Beach. But then I was like, what if I were into Miss Turtle? But I mean, you knew you wouldn't because it's a different time. But I was just like, this is crazy. But yeah, I mean, look, she wasn't teaching AP history classes. She had all these dummies that were doing regular history. So I'm sure in some ways she was like, these kids are idiots. You know, I'm sure. I mean,
they're going to ruin the world.
Because I would get good grades. Like I was one of those students that I would crush a test. I would crush a quiz. If you gave me homework, I'm not doing it. I just didn't. I just had zero interest. I would dominate school today, where you could turn in all the things as long as you
just turn them in
by the end of the quarter. You would, I would be great. But if you gave me a worksheet on a Tuesday and said, "Hey, this is due by Thursday in class," I'd be like, "I don't have time for this." And so Thursday would come and they'd go to collect it. I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't do it." So I get a big fat 0, and then it end up acing a test, and I'd end up with like a C or B average in the class, and all my teachers would be like, well, "Why didn't you just do the work you would have an A?" I don't have time for that. Let's do other things.
I'm going to go off on a tangent here.
Yeah, go
because
please. I've been
I remember, especially in elementary, the amount of homework that was sent home to be done. And as a grown adult, I would ask people in education, why is there homework? Well, it's to, put the concepts in place you learned at school. And I said, so you're telling me you didn't do your job when you had me at school, that now you're sending me home with information that is going to get grounded in my head because you didn't do it. Well, it's not. Never, ever have I gotten a valid answer on the usefulness of homework. And so I like you just said, you wouldn't do the homework. You do great on the test. And that's my point. Like, what do we need all this homework for? And I hear now today, kids today, they don't even really assign it because they know they're not going to do it. So
here's the only thing that I will argue, and I'm not saying that you should have homework because I think kids, again, to your point, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing in school, they don't need to have the homework. But here's what I'll say: it's kind of like, and this is the only way I know how to equate it. Somebody else would probably, you can probably say it's the same thing for playing an instrument or anything else. You may have learned the concepts, but like an athlete, you can learn how to shoot a basketball, throw a baseball or whatever at practice. But if you want to become really good at that skill, you've got to do things outside of your organization practice. So if you want to really hone that skill at, I don't know, your multiplication tables, you got to do it at home. I remember having flashcards. I was always good at that stuff because I had an older sister. And so she would get the flashcards with my parents, and I would just sit there. I didn't know how to multiply 8 by 8 when I was 5, but I could memorize, the 8 and the X and the 8, that means 64. Like that picture. Like I could do that with, I know what the 6 and the 4 mean. It means 24. I had no idea the concept of there are 4 groups of 6. So what does that equal? I had no concept of that. I just knew, I recognize that thing. It's kind of like holding up a picture of a horse and knowing that it says horse, that's what it was. I did multiplication tables when I was a kid because my sister would sit there with the flashcards and my mom and dad would hold them up and say, what is this? What is this? And if you see it enough times, you go, okay, I recognize that now.
Yeah.
But that is my only way to say that's why you would do homework, because they want you to work on things outside of school so you can actually get better at them, perfect them more than just knowing how to do it.
Well, I will say that's probably the first valid argument I've heard for it. Okay. I remember times my mother going, what are they doing with you at school if there's this much homework at night? By the time you went across 4 or 5 classes and it was read this chapter and answer all these questions. And, there were times I remember my mother going, what's another 2 to 3 hours of homework? You were at school for 8 hours. What are they doing there? And that's always been implanted in my head of, good point. What are we doing there if I got to come home to do all of this? Now, flashcards, simple things, I totally get. And Lord knows it's probably changed by now from what it was back in, the 70s. But I just remember, backpack full of books and got to do this and got to do that. Oh, dinner's over. Still working on homework, trying to get it done before bed. I just remember being, what in the world are we doing all day if we have to spend half the night doing more work?
Well, yeah, that I agree with. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like reading assignments and things like that. Again, that's why I didn't do any of that stuff, because I'm like, I don't. A lot of it was I didn't care either, because I'm like, I know. Again, and it may be because when I was in elementary school, I was one of those kids that was in the GT program, and they, pulled you out. You had to do special things because you were thought to be smarter than other kids. Fine. I don't believe that. I think there are kids in my classes that were probably just as smart as I was, just in different things.
Correct.
But fine, whatever it is. And then in junior high, I got put into what they called the accelerated program. And I did that for 7th grade, and I hated it because I was in the same class all day long with the same people. You would all go to history together. You would all go to science together because you were in this accelerated class. So much so that I started to hate school and basically was like, all right, how do I get out of having to do this next year and beyond? Well, just don't get the grades, and then they won't put you in there. So that's kind of what I did. So in 8th grade, I wasn't in those classes anymore. So it worked out well. But we were the first graduating class that Thomas Jefferson, the science and tech school up here, well, the 1989, the class of 89, went into that school as freshmen in 85, 86 as the first 4-year group that would graduate from Jefferson. Everybody in the county had to take the test to see who would get in. They didn't have to be like, oh, only these, because they trying to make it fair for everybody. So even if you were a dum-dum that had no shot,
here's your test.
You still had to take the test. I took the test. They said that I could be put on the wait list. I wasn't one of the brilliant ones. I didn't get in, but I was right on the edge. And I went, no chance. I immediately said, take me off your wait list. I am not interested. Thank you.
I will not be a part of this.
I will not be joining you for this adventure. Thank you very much. So,
well, I remember.
As I say, in rural Richmond down that way, did you guys have weird, wacky teachers? Did you have any drunk teachers? Any strangeness that went on in your high school?
I wouldn't. There was no specific strangeness. Ours was pretty much textbook. You had the sprinkling of male coaches.
Oh,
who, because of small school, they not only coached football and baseball, right? They were ingrained in the jock culture.
Right.
And of course, as I look back now, you could always get the sense of, you dirty old men. Because it wasn't, and I will not say that anyone did anything, but I remember now like comments and looks and things that I get now as an adult, like, oh, you slimy menu. The way they would talk to the females in the class and like the cheerleaders and things like that. Again, I don't think anything awkward really happened or no one talked about it, but it was just, oh yeah, you are the representative of the coach / educator and live at that level. I had let's see what else. I had an art teacher who, I don't know if she was either drinking or smoking, because she would disappear and always come back, be chewing gum.
That's gotta be drinking, right? Well, I guess it could be smoking.
Yeah.
Well, back then, I mean, before my freshman year, my sister's junior year of high school, they still had a smoking area at the high school. Because when we got there the next year, you could still see the yellow lines painted outside. It was so dumb. You walk out like one of the back doors and there'd be like this yellow triangle drawn on the asphalt. And as long as you were standing there, you could go ahead and smoke.
Yeah.
But you're right next to the building. Like, put the triangle away. It didn't make any sense now that we think about it. But yeah, high school students, if you're 18, you could smoke at school all the way up to 1985. And then my freshman year, that's when they did away with it. But it was you could still see it there.
Yeah,
so yeah, it might have been smoking.
Yeah, it might have been. I mean, again, she's the art teacher, so I don't know. She could have been smoking weed for all I know. But she was always in a good mood. It was always about the art. So, more power to her. Most of this is the funny story I've told someone else, especially in elementary. I don't know. It seemed like all the teachers were like 80 years old and wore sleeveless polyester tops, and it was horrible. So, being a rural school system, but I do remember when we got to high school, we started getting these, what I call, back then I didn't know, now I know, it was all the young, newly graduated teachers.
In high school?
They were high school teachers because they couldn't get jobs at the bigger school systems with no experience. Wow. So they would end up out there in the middle of nowhere, do a year or two, and leave. And so I remember there was always a crop of 2 or 3 younger females, which were magnets for the pre-mentioned coaches.
Well, yes.
Right? Because they were always in that group. Now, some of these coaches, they were older. They weren't, just graduating.
Right.
But these female teachers were, and they always seemed to be grouped together. Like everyone's here to have a good time. And, they were stalking pretty hard, those guys.
So
but nothing. Yeah, we were just a small rural high school system. There wasn't anything just outlandish like, oh, that happened, that you would hear from like some of the bigger areas, Richmond, Northern Virginia, etc.
Yeah, I mean, we had the same thing. We had our pervert teachers, as we even called them back then. I mean, I remember, and again, Rob and I were just talking about this and everything at the baseball game the other day, and I remember our baseball coach, and he has since passed away. He passed away a long time ago. But I remember like one of the first practices that we were up on varsity, and he's talking about hitting. And he was, talking about how there are a couple of guys on our team that took like really big strides with like their front foot. And they figure right-handed hitter, taking it with your left foot. And he goes, you guys are getting way off balance. You're taking this big, long stride like you're going to be hitting home runs or something. He goes, you don't need to take this big, giant stride. He goes, pick your foot up 6 inches. It's not that 6 inches. It's not that far. 6 inches. It's not a lot. Ask your girlfriends. And we all looked at each other like, dude, none of us are having sex. I don't know what you're talking about. We're not like, we're 15, 16 years old. Maybe there's 1 or 2 of us that were, but for the most part, we're all like, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but all right, whatever, man. Like, sure. It was just like, he thought he was being funny. And I mean, I guess we probably all kind of went, yeah, you're right. That's not that much. Like, we had no idea. But I was just like, oh my gosh, I've always remembered that from him. And now I didn't get creep vibes from him. And that was Coach Funkhauser. For those of us who are, if you're from Essen, you remember that's who that was. I never got creep things from him. He was just a baseball. I mean, he was a
man of his time.
But he was just a baseball coach. Like, it was fine. So
well, I laugh at the things that occurred then. Maybe they still happen. I don't know. For instance, my wrestling coach lived half a mile up the street. And so he would go to school in his, I think it was a Datsun. Yeah, it was a Datsun, pickup, like 2-seater in the back.
Right.
And he'd pick up me and 4 other boys, drive us the 6 miles to school.
Okay.
So one would be in the front, the other 4 would be in the back bed.
Sure.
On a major dirt road 1, and then major artery out there with 4 kids in the back of the truck on the way to school. And I said, it's not so much riding in the back of the truck. What would teachers pick up students today privately and take them to school?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, maybe. Here's the thing. You would definitely not do one-on-one. You would definitely not just pick up a student. Now, and this is going back, over 25 years. But I drove, when I was coaching AAU girls basketball, one of the kids that played for me at the time, and these were all 15 and 16-year-olds, was, Kathy McKay, who's a big donor from George Mason, who owns McKay Chevrolet. So there was 4 kids were at a basketball camp down at Longwood University, which for those of you who don't know is in Farmville, Virginia. It's in the middle of Virginia. They were down there at basketball camp. They all also played for me for AAU. We had a tournament in Pittsburgh that weekend. Okay. That's actually long story to go around. That's where we met Val, was in at this tournament.
Okay.
But anyway, so Ms. McKay, Kathy, gives me one of their like conversion vans to drive to Longwood to pick up the 4 girls and drive to Pittsburgh. Just us. There are no adults in the van.
Well, you were the adult.
What's that?
You were the adult.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It wasn't like, oh, well, you can drive and a couple of the parents will come along. It was, hey, we don't want to have to drive to Longwood and then to Pittsburgh. So we're going to give you, she rode with another parent who was like, their daughters were really good friends. So she's like, we'll drive up and then you can ride home with, one of us. So I wasn't going to have a car in Pittsburgh because I'm driving the conversion van. So I was like, okay, sure. So I went and drove to Longwood, picked up the 4 girls. Nobody questioned. Random male adult in his mid-20s at that point, taking 4 girls with him who none of them were his daughter. Come on, ladies, let's get in the van.
Let's go in the van. No candy required.
Drive to Pittsburgh.
Your mom said it was okay.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. The kids had no idea. Dude, this is before cell phones or anything. So I get there, and again, 2 of the kids played for me in high school. Kathy's daughter and another girl played for me at Fairfax High School. 2 of the other kids were with a bunch of the Northern Virginia high schools went down to Longwood for this game. So the other 2, one was from Langley, and I think the other one was from Oakton, if I remember right. They had no idea. I get there, and I think maybe Kathy's. So I get there, and I get her, and I get the other girl from Fairfax, and I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, bring player X, player Y. I don't want to give their names out, but they're coming with us as well. And so they went over and said, hey, we're all, we're going to Pittsburgh. Coach Roland's driving. I think they call me Coach Bill, whatever. He's driving us to Pittsburgh. Your parents are meeting us there. And they're like, okay. Like, didn't question it. Just got in the van and away we went. So
you were friend approved because the friend said, this is what we're doing. We're going with him.
They're just like, yeah, all right, we'll get in the van. And I remember their thing was, can we listen to what we want to listen to? And I was like, yeah, I don't care. Put whatever, it might have been probably CDs by then. It was late 90s. But yeah, I don't care. Whatever. Just get in the van. We got to go. Like,
shut your mouth.
Yeah. So I don't think a teacher would necessarily do that now. Although I'm sure there are examples of, hey, because I know like where I coach now, they only have one gym. So a lot of practices are off campus. I'm pretty sure there have been times where coaches have been like, hey, a bunch of you get in the car. We got to go. Because if they don't have driver's license, they got to get there somehow, but not driving to school and certainly not anymore sitting in the back of the pickup truck bed, which I'm okay with because we did that when I was a kid too. We had a pickup truck and we would get to the front of our neighborhood and my dad would pull off to the side and we'd jump out of the truck and get in the back and we'd ride the last mile to the house in the back of the pickup truck. Because that's how we rode around up in Pennsylvania where nobody was. When we
that's how we did it.
That's what you did.
Right. So let me throw this scenario at you.
Yes, please.
I, too, in the tag program in elementary school.
Nice.
7th grade, I think there was 10 or 12 of us. And the coordinator who ran it, she took us home for the weekend in groups of like 4s or 5s.
Oh, we never did that.
So, but it was, so see, it's already started. You're already going, whoa. It was legit. We went to a theater production, and then I also remember we went to a French restaurant the next day. It was all part of our enrichment, right? But there was 4 of us, 4 or 5. But yeah, you're going home with Mrs. Johnston. Have fun.
Wild.
and spend the night and come back the next day.
Oh my God, no! But do you remember we did go spend the night at our college professor's house? Do you remember that?
No,
going over
wait.
To Miss Donahue's house, Professor Donahue.
After me.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I'd have to bring Chris Nicholson on to tell that story.
Yes.
Yeah, we went over there and drank with the lady who took over at the radio station. We went over and drank at her house. It's like her husband, her kids were in the high school then, maybe even younger. They might have been younger than that. In fact, I think they were, because later when I worked for 106.7 here in DC, and that would have been 2009, 2010-ish, right around that time, her son was an intern for us. So, yeah, he had to have been like 4 when we were over there. Yeah, me, Nicholson. I don't remember if Ted was. I don't remember if Ted was with us or not. But there's like 3 or 4 of us that like went and hung out at Donahue's house, and she cooked dinner, and we drank, and we all just crashed there that night, like down in the basement or something. It was weird. But we definitely didn't do it with an elementary school teacher. No.
Yeah. Well, and I also, this goes back. So that happened. That was 7th grade. Kindergarten. Kindergarten.
7th grade's a little old. I'm like, I would feel more comfortable if you guys were like 3rd.
I was 12.
It's still mixed groups, and there are guys and
yes.
girls. Oh,
yes.
That's weird. That's
so
weird. All right, go ahead.
Kindergarten was evidently, and I don't know if she was terminal now that I think about it. We went home with the kindergarten teacher in groups of 2s, 3s, 4s to stay over because it was her last class. I remember they were saying that. So it must have been, I'll have to ask my mother about that. So same thing, groups going home with the teacher. And her house, I remember was in Richmond. So that's like 45 minutes to an hour away, just bringing kids home. Again, my memory's good. Nothing happened. But I sit there today and go, there is no way that would ever happen nowadays. It's bizarre.
That's way different than my high school history teacher drinking in class.
Okay.
To be like just snatched up and like, you're going to go home with your kindergarten teacher. That's just weird, man. Just weird. Like, what are your parents thinking?
I don't know. I'm going to ask them now after this. I'm like, do you guys remember this?
That's a question you got to ask. Like, why would you let that happen now? Like, what were you thinking? But again, it's the same parents that need to be reminded that they even had kids with the little
kids in the backseat
every night. Hey, by the way, it's 10 o'clock. Have you looked around? Do you know where they are? They might not be at the kindergarten teacher's house. Are you sure this was the weekend that they were staying there? Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I'm going to make a phone call tomorrow now because you talking about that and we get on the. I said, why? As a parent, you would allow that? I'm going to have to give them a piece of my mind tomorrow.
See what happened to me? You have no idea. Yeah, that's crazy. I never. I'm trying to think. No, never stayed at anybody's house. I'm thinking of teach other than Professor Donahue. No, high school. No. I can't think of any. I went to I babysat for a teacher once.
Yeah.
My peer counseling teacher, Mr. Embry, he was also the wrestling coach. He had 2 boys, and one weekend, I guess he usually had like some of the other kids, like female students, because they're supposed to be babysitters and not men. I don't know why he thought that, but he was talking about it. And because he asked one of the girls in class, he's like, can you watch whatever his son's names were? They were like 9 and 7 or something this weekend. And she's like, no, I can't. And I was like, I'll do it. And he's like, he looked at me, he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, how hard can it be? Like, they're boys. Yeah. They're 9 and 7. It's simple. So he's like, all right. He's like, yeah, come on over. So I went over, and you know what his sons did all night? Played Legend of Zelda.
Oh, okay.
That was it. I was like, what do you guys like to do? They're like, video games. I'm like, what do you got?
Have at it.
Legend of Zelda. All right. Where's your machine? You know, like the console or whatever. And they're like, it's in the basement. And I'm like looking at the note that Mr. Embry sent me, and it just said, make sure they're in bed by 10. Didn't say anything else. Is like, they can't play video games. They can't. So I look, I'm like, hey man, seems good to me. Let's go. So I sat there and hung out and had my feet up, and I'm eating popcorn and drinking sodas and watching the two knuckleheads play Legend of Zelda. And then
That's
I got
true
paid
management
pretty
right
good.
there.
What's that?
That's true management right there.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't go anywhere. They didn't get hurt. It's perfect.
They were focused.
I was like, hey man, you get as far as you can because bedtime is, you got to be in bed by 10, and I don't want your dad mad at me. And they're like, okay. So they were fine. It was great. That's the only time that I think I was in a teacher's house for longer than 30 seconds or whatever it was. So yeah.
The only time I remember, I will not reveal her name, was one of our comm professors, and we figured out she was going to be in Myrtle Beach when we were down there our senior year. And I said, well, here's my pager number. And I think it caught her off guard, like, oh, 'cause she was single, but she never.
You got to tell me off the air. I don't remember this.
And then when we got back, she was like, yeah. And I saw the hesitation, like, yeah, I got busy. So was it the blow off or was it the, oh, crud, I may have walked into something here. I better back myself out of this. So
you have to tell me who. I'm
will.
not sure who that was. So anyway, if you don't have any other stories, we should probably wrap this up.
No, I think
we're at an hour, so
yeah,
that's good.
I mean, we covered pizza and bad teachers. Good teacher stories. So
yeah,
that's nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. Good nostalgia episode. Do you have any parting words before we get?
Yes, as I tell my kids, every when bad things happen, a decision got you there, and it's usually your bad judgment that did it. So own it.
This concludes this episode of Gen X Men with Bill Rowland and Gary Dollarhite. Gen X Men is now off the air.